Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of 18 times 2 Beyond Youthful Days, a romance from 2024 that is a co-production between Japan and Taiwan. This is a live-action adaptation of a web travelogue by a Taiwanese video game developer. Jimmy, the founder of a Taiwanese video game development studio, gets fired from his own company during a board meeting. Devastated, he returns to his hometown of Tainan. While tidying his room, he stumbles upon a postcard he received 18 years ago from his dear Japanese friend, Ami. He then receives a phone call from the studio co-founder who invites him on the final business trip to Tokyo. After the business meeting, Jimmy embarks on a solo trip without a destination in Japan. So his thoughts drift back 18 years ago to when he worked at a struggling karaoke bar in Tainan during the summer before university started. And he meets this girl, Ami, a new employee and Japanese backpacker, looking for a working place to save up money for an upcoming journey. And of course, he becomes romantically interested in her. Now, when I saw the title for this movie, I was kind of confused. 18 times 2, Beyond Youthful Days, doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, and I had no idea what on earth it was supposed to mean. However, near the beginning, you realize that this guy is probably around 36 years old. 18 times 2 equals 36. So this is basically like a retroactive assessment of this man's life by comparing him when he was 18 years old through flashbacks to his current predicament at 36 years old and his relationship with this girl. Now, our protagonist at present day is professionally successful, yet somewhat low-spirited, and he makes some monologue statements that indicate a serious questioning of his own existence. Mostly everyone in real life goes through this perhaps many times, so it's quite a relatable premise for a movie. At one point, he actually asks himself, where he went wrong, or perhaps he was wrong from the start, so he's really questioning a lot of stuff here. Now, on the other hand, the impression of our protagonist when he was 18 years old through the flashbacks is quite different. He seems kind of lazy, unmotivated, sleeping in frequently and being late for work at the karaoke bar. Definitely a contrast, which I appreciated. Now, whenever they return back to present day, because this movie shifts in time from the flashbacks to the present throughout, and when you shift back to the present, it makes it clear that this guy and his love interest never ended up together for some reason. So the overall mood of the film is kind of melancholy, a little bit sad, I guess you could say. And it becomes clear that the present-day version of this guy is traveling to Japan to remember his fleeting happy moments with this woman. The good thing about this movie is that it's not entirely just about romance, because our protagonist ends up meeting a handful of Japanese people while he's traveling their country. And this movie does a pretty good job of capturing those nice little interactions you get when you're traveling solo and meeting people. I also like the dialogue during the present-day scenes. It's pretty realistic and practical. Now, the overall premise of this movie requires it to show these flashbacks in a pretty positive light, I would say, for comparison purposes and dramatic impact. And this romantic relationship is more of a puppy-dog romance. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot of depth or complexity to it, but these are younger folks in the flashbacks, so it's quite endearing because it has this innocence to it. At times, however, you do wonder how receptive this woman is to a possible romance with our lead character, because you're wondering what exactly happened between these two. Did they become boyfriend-girlfriend for a short period of time? Was this guy interested, but the girl really wasn't? Was it like a one-way romance? So you're not really sure, and you'll have to watch to find out. The performances and direction are solid. And as an added bonus, we get some nice travelogue shots of Japan, which include urban and natural environments, including some snowy locales. However, my criticisms of this movie are that at 2 full hours in length, it does move rather slowly, and it does run long. The conventionality of the story as well, and this is conventional, makes it feel like a longer film when you add in that runtime as well. But I will say the final act does have enough dramatic impact to make it worthwhile. And the overall film is just well made overall. So it is a familiar story, but it's good. So I recommend 18 times 2 Beyond Youthful Days for those who enjoy this kind of movie. It's currently available streaming on Netflix, so it's pretty easy to find. And as always, folks, I'll see you next time.